Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Superintendent Bradley. Good evening. I'm pleased to present informational item 11F2, fiscal year 27 budget update. Board, as you know, our budget development process consists of four distinct phases. Phase 1 focused on planning and initial development. During this stage, we established priorities through discussions with the board. The Chief Financial Officer led planning sessions with division leaders, principals, and directors to guide the development of budget proposals. Enrollment projections and personnel allotments were also developed to anchor our planning. Phase 2 focused on budget requests and initial review, whereby schools and divisions submitted proposals which were reviewed by the superintendent and chief financial officer to ensure alignment with district priorities and financial capacity. At the same time, detailed initial salary and benefit projections were prepared, including staff allocations, step increases, and benefit obligations. We are now in phase 3, where we are finalizing the fiscal year 27 budget through refined revenue projections and comprehensive internal reviews. It is important to state clearly that this year's process has required a slightly different approach than in prior years. Based on conditions we have discussed over the past 2 years, including the rising cost of doing business, substantially elevated insurance premiums, changes to the local digest, and shifts in local fair share, to name a few, we have begun implementing strategic reductions in expenditures while also evaluating whether additional revenue will ultimately be necessary. To be clear, this is not a one-year adjustment. Fiscal year 27 represents the beginning of no less than 2 or 3 budget cycles that will look materially different from those in the past. Our current budget development work is grounded in a few core principles. First, we remain committed to supporting student achievement and investing in our employees through competitive compensation and benefits. At the same time, we must operate within a very constrained financial structure. Historically, approximately 88% of our budget has been allocated to salaries and benefits. The remaining portion has always supported all other aspects of educating our students. We do not expect this to change much during the next budget cycle. However, this reality leaves very little margin for flexibility. As a result, operating with greater efficiency is not optional. As it stands, we are reviewing expenditures across departments to identify areas for strategic reduction while maintaining effectiveness. Throughout, we remain committed to long-term financial stability. Right now, the overall percentage increase in the proposed fiscal year 27 general fund budget is approximately 1.30%. Approximately 89% is allocated to salaries and benefits, while the remaining funds support instructional materials, operations, maintenance, and other essential services. Revenue is derived from approximately 54% state and 46% local sources. Notwithstanding these figures, there are 2 important points of context that I want to share. The first is that Newton County Schools operates with lower per pupil spending than several of our regional counterparts, including Rockdale, Social Circle, Griffin-Spalding, and Morgan counties. Second, despite that reality, our district has recently demonstrated meaningful gains in student achievement. In short, we have improved outcomes with comparatively fewer resources. The question that we must confront is whether this level of performance is sustainable without deeper investment. Our inputs that we've received to develop our current strategic plan suggest that more investment over time may be needed, and while this budget will not resolve that question in a single year, it represents beginning efforts to address it. Board, we will also continue to monitor state budget developments, including House Bill 974, which has reduced projected increases in employer health insurance costs, providing some budget relief. We are also closely tracking proposed property tax legislation and its potential impact on local revenue. Additionally, alongside 2026 legislative activity, an important topic that has emerged in our community worth discussing is the possibility of a full senior homestead exemption. For Newton County Schools, this is a fundamental matter of mathematics and solvency. However, you should know that we are working with the tax commissioner to determine the exact impact a full exemption would have on the district, but it is clear that such a measure would create a significant revenue shortfall that would need to be offset through other means. As we move forward and prepare to conclude the development of the fiscal year 27 budget, allow me to highlight a few additional points. First, this board has a well-documented history of financial restraint. This is evidenced by consistent millage rate reductions. In fact, our current millage rate trails many of our regional counterparts by a good amount, including Henry, Rockdale, Social Circle, Fayette, and Morgan counties. Most recently, the board approved a 0.25 millage rate reduction just under 1 year ago, representing approximately $1.5 million in reduced revenue. This reflects a clear pattern, a willingness to reduce revenue even as financial demands persist. Second, our community should know that Newton County Schools ranks in the bottom third of districts statewide in central office spending. While lean operations have value, operating below average in a district of this size can create additional strain and administrative burden on existing staff. Third, our per-pupil spending remains lower than that of comparable districts, even as expectations and performance demands continue to increase. Taken together, these facts lead to a simple conclusion. This board has demonstrated that marginal performance gains are possible with limited resources. But marginal gains are not our goal. Our stated ambition to become the fastest improving district in Georgia will require deeper investment, improved efficiency, and sustained effort over time. This budget represents a step in that direction with more to come. Board, the remaining steps in the budget development process include the presentation of the tentative budget, required public hearings, and final adoption. As we move through the steps, we will maintain transparency while also preparing our community for the financial realities ahead. Some decisions will be difficult, but they are necessary to ensure the long-term strength and sustainability of this district. Madam Chair, this concludes all that I have prepared. I turn it back over to you, but will remain available for any questions or board discussion.